Hello YouTube and welcome back. Splits here, aka Split Sex Shooter, and I'm gonna need to get a better camera because I can't even get all my beard in here right now, but it's been a little bit since I've talked to you guys, but I have something very cool to show you today. This is the Vaporshark R-DNA 40, and atop of this right now I have the Mutation X V2. The biggest difference with the V2, if you've had the V1, is the airflow adjustment. I don't know if you can see that too well on there. My webcam's not very good. But basically you can run this guy in single coil mode, which the V1 version 1 did not offer. You can run this in single coil, dual coil, or quad coil mode. Right now I do have it running in dual coil mode because I have a dual coil build in my Mutation X sitting on top of my Vaporshark. And those of you that aren't familiar with the Vaporshark, what makes this device so cool? Because a lot of you are going to be put away because, oh, it's a 40 watt device, who gives a shit? Because everybody wants to have that 100 watt device, that 150 watt device, that 200 watt device, which realistically a lot of people don't need. That much power just isn't something you need to have in your hands. Vaporshark is taking this in the right direction, as others have said before, and I feel like if the other companies do not go in the same direction, then they're just going to go the way of the wind. Because this guy, what makes it so damn cool is the temperature control. So, if you get nickel wire, right now I have 28 gauge pure nickel wire, which is a non-resistance wire. I highly recommend not getting this for anything other than the Vaporshark DNA 40 or something that has the evolved DNA 40 chip in it capable of running the nickel wire, because this is non-resistance wire. Basically, this thing has temperature control, and I can sit here and fire this all day long, and I will never ever get a burnt hit. And I will be showing a video in the corner if I can get it linked up. I already recorded that portion of it with my phone, just showing you the temperature control and it kicking it off and kicking it off. It's kind of like an oven. I can just sit here and do this, and as the oven gets to the 450 degrees, the little red heating rod will turn off and let it kind of simmer down and kick back on. So now you see that it's kind of getting pitiful right now. It's running very low on juice. There's not much vapor production coming off at all. Actually, you can't even see it on the camera very well at all now because it is so pitiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my juice here. Right now, I'm currently dripping BOV from Boosted, and that is going to be a tropical fruit medley. It's really good. I'm going to get my cap on here so I don't make a mess. And probably can't tell very well, but this is the nickel wire on here. I have 22 wraps on either side. This is a dual coil build, and I had to do 22 wraps to get to a 0.10 ohms, which I'm going to put that picture up so you can see the bottom of the display. It's 0.10. When I initially put it on there, it was a 0.14, and after 1 day of use, it has dropped down to 0.1. So if it drops any lower, I'm not even going to be able to fire it on this device. But it takes that many wraps, with it being a non-resistance wire, to get that high of an ohm. Or otherwise, like I said, the Vaporshark won't fire it. So I'm going to put a couple drops, saturate this cotton, saturate this cotton. And this is the last time you're going to see me with this juice bottle during this video. I will not need it. That's what's so cool about this. So I'm going to sit here and hit it. I'm probably going to do a time lapse so you guys don't get bored, but I'm going to start hitting this for a little while. Now, before I do start this time lapse, I do want to say that if you aren't familiar with mech mods or rebuilding or dripping or, you know, variable voltage, variable wattage box mods, generally with a build, you're going to put 2-3 drops on either side if you're running dual coils. There's 2 or 3 drops on your one coil, on your dry cotton, and then you're going to get anywhere from 2 to 5, maybe 6 hits. It just really depends upon the person and how you draw on it. But with me, I'm going to get 2 or 3. So, back into this. Notice I haven't dripped. Now, you'll basically notice that the cloud density really isn't changing. I'm still getting really good flavor, and I've taken more than these said 3 to 4 hits. I'll take my top cap off here and my barrel. and the cotton still has a little bit of moisture to it. Generally this would look really bone dry, basically look like fresh cotton. As those of you that know, once you get a few hits on it, it's going to turn bone white again basically. This is still moist, I can still draw on this, I can still get hits, and like I said, I was still getting good flavor. Put this back in dual coil mode, drop it off, and currently, for those of you that are interested, I have 3 air holes on either side opened up, so a total of 6 air holes if you're familiar with the Mutation X or the Mutation X V2. But I can still sit here and draw on this. And I still have not dripped whatsoever. And that's what makes this device so amazing. My green screen's all fucked. But basically, this is a really great device for somebody that is just... I'm going to try and get my green screen a little bit better. I'm not being a fag and getting the vapor out of the way. I just don't want it to be all wonky. But that's what makes this device so cool. You know, for somebody that's just getting into rebuilding and, you know, isn't familiar with knowing to re-drip all the time, you're going to get a bad experience if you get a dry hit. It's a very unpleasant hit. You'll be coughing, you'll get choked up. Or somebody that doesn't want to drip all the time, or you're driving, or, you know, you're just caught up in other things in life, you're going to pick it up thinking that it's dripped and have a bad time. With this device, this will not happen. I can put dry cotton in here with a fresh build and just sit here and fire it, and it will not even scorch that cotton. Set to 450 right now. 450-ish is where cotton will start to char. It's going to give you a really nasty flavor. And this device will not do that, and you can adjust that. Basically, you'll click this 5 times, which is your fire button. That'll put this device into lock mode, and then you'll hold the plus and minus, your up and down, for 2 seconds, and it'll give you the option to either up your heat, your temperature, or lower your temperature. And like I said, right now I'm running mine at 450, and that seems to be a really good temperature for me. I'm running it at 35.5 watts, and this device will just perform. And like I said, I can just sit here and keep hitting it. I'm going to do it again. This, like I said, this is direction. This is the direction that all of these, you know, regulated devices need to go. If you have the option to run nickel wire, then you can run this and you cannot get a burnt hit. So this makes it a really great device for beginners, and it makes it a great device for, you know, people that have been vaping for a while. This is probably going to be my go-to. I'm still carrying my IPv3 around. Right now I have the Limo on there. Those of you that are familiar with that, you know what it is. But otherwise, this is a rebuildable dripping tank atomizer. Basically, you'll rebuild in here in the chimney, then you'll look it with cotton, and then there's 2 little channels, and as you draw on it, it'll bring your juice in. So you kind of get a rebuilding experience without having to drip all the time as well. So this is a really nice device. All of these things that I'm showing you are carried at NDE Cigs, so feel free if you're local to stop in at NDE Cigs in Westfield and come and see me. This guy, dual 18650, you get insane battery life out of this. The IPv3 is really awesome. We carry this. This guy is 140, or you can go to ndecigs.com and pick it up. The Vaporshark R-DNA 40, you can get this guy for 190. It comes with a battery installed, and what I really like about this device, and I didn't even know when I first got it, is this is a magnetic back panel to get your battery. It comes with an LG 18650 in here, and you just plop it right in. If you're familiar with the old DNA device, I got my strap in the way, the battery kick strap thing, but if you're familiar with the old device, it had a little screw right here initially, and even when you loosen that screw, it was weird to open. You had to do it just right to get that back panel open. Now you can pop it right off, throw it in your charger, or you can charge this device via micro USB on the side as well. So it's just a really convenient device. I'm absolutely loving this thing. I just got my nickel wire. This is day 2 of using it. This is the very first build I put in here, and it's still running just fine. It's a little bit different to build with because it is a really malleable metal, and you want to be careful when you're putting it in there and just take your time and do it right. But like I said, I have 22 wraps on either side, and that initially gave me a 0.14 reading. After a day of use, it has dropped down to 0.1, so if it drops any lower, I'm not going to be able to run it on this device. The downfall is with those 22 wraps, even in the Mutation X V2. Take my barrel off again so you can see it a little bit better. But it barely fits in there with 22 wraps, so this may be more of a single coil device, and unless you can get something with a little bit more space to work in. But the airflow, you know, on this device paired with the Vaporshark, and you haven't seen me drip this once because I haven't, and I can still sit here and hit this. This is a really nice device. I guess I could hit my Limo to show you guys that while I've got you here, but and that is the rebuildable tank I'm running that at 22 watts. I've had this guy on here for 2 days now, and you probably can't see it, but I'm going to try and show you real quick and get my fingers out of the way. The battery life has not plummeted whatsoever. You can sit here and fire this, and it's not, well, it's too bright to see, but I've been using this for 2 days, and it's barely even dropped on the battery life whatsoever. Dual 18650s, you get really nice battery life out of this, so this is a great device if you're not going to be capable of charging. This one, I usually get through the day with it, and I'm on it quite a bit, obviously showing customers, and I'm going to sit there and do that same thing in the store. I'm going to fog up the entire store with this thing and not drip a single time after my initial drips. I'll put 2 or 3 drops on either side, and I can just sit there and go and go and go, and the whole store will get fogged up with this thing. So it's really impressive. Like I said, if the next generations of box mods, the people that are already in the market, if they don't go this direction, I feel like they aren't going to do as well. Now, there are going to be a lot of people out there that still want to have that 150 watts. This guy upgrades to 165 with the software update and adds a 1/10 to your ohms and your voltage, so it's a little more precise on your readings, and that makes it really cool. And you can build on here, and you can crank this thing up to 100 watts, 125 watts, 150 if you're feeling a little froggy, and blow some serious clouds with this and get some nice battery life because it's a dual 18650. And that's going to be running in a series, so it's like stacking 2 18650s. Whereas some of the other devices are going to be running in a parallel, and you're just going to get really nice battery life at 4.2 volts. I'm basically in awe of how amazing this device is, and I've been sitting here flapping my gums for so long I'm getting kind of thirsty, so I'm going to take a drink real quick. But if you are interested in this device and you're looking into getting rebuilding, but you're a little hesitant just because, oh, well, I like the tank because I don't have to drip all the time, and I can still get nice flavor and everything. This thing puts out immaculate flavor. Even with all this airflow on the Mutation X, as a lot of people know, this has the bigger drip tip on it and everything. It's more of a wide bore. A lot of people use this for cloud blowing, not so much flavor. I'm still getting great flavor off this with 6 air holes open, total 3 on either side, running it in dual coil mode. This is the way to go. This new tech, it's crazy that it's come this far this fast. It wasn't that long ago when people were just guessing and hoping for the best. Vaporshark, you guys are taking this stuff in the right direction, and it's only going to get better. You don't need 100 watts with this device. You get nice, really nice cloud production off this guy at 35 watts, dual coil build, and you're still getting great flavor. So it's not just air that you're expelling and getting some vapor out of it. People that go to the cloud blowing competitions probably aren't getting very good flavor because they're going for the cloud production. With this, I still get great cloud production, great flavor, and I don't have to remember to drip. I can sit there and draw on it 50, 100 times, and I'll still be producing vapor. I won't have an issue because it will not let you burn it with that temperature control. So, I mean, even if you get low, you're like, in another device, you'd have to change your cotton if you got too low and burned it because you'd be getting this really burnt, just harsh flavor. Whereas with this, you can get it, and basically, eventually this will just dwindle down and start producing no vapor. You won't burn your cotton, and you can just re-drip and still continue to have a good time with this device. So, like I said, feel free to come check us out, indie6.com, or come see me in Westfield. You can pick up this Vaporshark. This thing also has built-in wireless charging on this side of it, so there's a little, like, puck, basically. It's a little puck. It's a little round device. You'll set it on there, it'll beep, and it'll start charging. It's really cool. So that's already built in. That charger specifically is sold separately, but it does come with a micro USB, a battery, and you're getting this really awesome temperature control. You just want to make sure you're using nickel wire. When you put on this device, it'll ask you if you've put on a new build. Plus will be for yes, minus will be for no. It's the same build that I had on there. So just if you're going from a Canthal build to your nickel wire build, just make sure you let it know that you've put a new build on there, and then you can adjust your temperature and start vaping and just vape all day basically. Towards the end of the day, you're gonna be hurting for flavor and vapor, but you could bring a little tiny bottle of juice with you and get hundreds and hundreds of draws on this and just a couple drips each time. I feel like between me and my buddy yesterday, I took about 50, he took about 50, and we were still getting really nice vapor production off this, and it still had pretty good flavor by the end of it. So it seems like you're almost going to be conserving juice with this device in theory, because with anything else you're going to drip 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 drip, 2-4 tugs on it, and then you got to drip 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 drip. With this one, you can drip 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 and go to town for a while on it. So I've had this 30 ml bottle for 5 days now, and I go through a lot of juice generally. I'm not even halfway through this guy. Now initially I was using this with Canthal, so that's why most of it is already gone, and I've had 2 days on this with the nickel wire, and like I said, it's not even halfway gone. So don't be scared of this device thinking you're gonna go through a ton of juice. Don't be scared of rebuilding. It just takes a little bit of practice, and if you guys do have any questions, feel free to pop those in the comments. If you are local, come in the store and we'll help you out. You know, we'll throw a build in there for you, and we'll get something figured out, and you guys will be vaping, and you can have a really good experience with rebuilding and not have to worry about the dry hits with the temperature control. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, and like I said, if you have any questions, pop down in the comments below, let me know. But until next time, guys, game and vape on.